Sam Perrin has been in the public accounting industry for 20 years. One claim to his CPA fame is that in 2003, he completed the last paper CPA certification test. He's also a proud Eagle Scout, a big fan of Jim Kramer and Mad Money, and enjoys prognosticating about the stock market. Let's see what makes Sam so buzzworthy. Welcome to the show, Sam. How you doing today?
Oh, very good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, thanks for taking the time out and sharing your experience. Now, you are a partner for a CPA firm in Bois, Pennsylvania. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's a small town about an hour west of State College, where
State
Penn State is.
College.
Yeah.
So my parents or my dad grew up in Trent, New Jersey, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we're Steeler country over here, but
We're gonna have problems here. I'm a lifetime Bengals fan.
oh
So
wow,
yes,
wow.
but
Well, good for you.
fortunately
They're
for the next,
awesome.
fortunately for us, for the next decade, you guys will not be a contender. So I'm not too worried about it.
Right, right. I took my kids to the first Steeler game, and the Bengals just crushed the Steelers. It's
It's our
embarrassing.
turn, darn it! It's our turn. It's one of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
Indeed.
We eat
Yeah,
our
that's the
own
truth.
right there. So now I heard that you are a Kramer fan, Mad Money. For those who don't know, that's on one of the news networks, and it's speculation of the markets, and he's a very loud personality. Now, do you mimic that in your procrastinating? I can't even say that word 10 times fast. And in your looking at the markets, it sounds like you like to play around and do market research and stuff like that for the stock exchange and stuff like that. Is that something that's like a hobby of yours, or you just like to speculate for fun?
Just speculate. I'm recently past the Series 7 and started doing retirement plans, but not too speculating for those, I guess.
Oh
Maybe
yeah,
a
hook
little
that.
bit.
That's funny.
I like his intensity though.
That's awesome. That is great. So now you've been interested in accounting for the majority of your life then? How did you get into accounting?
Well, when I was in college, I was undecided for 3 years and probably not supposed to be undecided for quite that long. But I took a test actually at Edinburgh University, and they
Mhm.
said, well, either a math teacher or an accountant. And they said a math teacher doesn't pay too well. And I don't know. The rest is all history.
Well, lucky for you, it sounds like you do love numbers, and that's great. And so then, and you've been with your firm now for 17 years,
That's
and
correct. Yeah.
so at what point in that? I mean, you went in there and you're just getting a job, right? At what point in your career did you feel like this was going to be the firm that you were going to end up someday being a co-owner, if you will, but a partner?
I guess when I got into it, I'd always kind of had that mindset. And, I guess some time went along and I kind of went in and said, hey, I'm looking to be a partner. And if not, I need to not be passing up other jobs. And they said, hey, if you can be patient with us, give it a year. And the founder actually had a heart attack during that year. And
Oh my gosh.
so it was a little bit longer, if you will. And obviously, I didn't want it to happen because of that way. But he came back, and he's the managing partner is 82 years old
Oh
and
wow.
just has a passion for accounting. And he's my mentor, and he's done, really done right by me.
Oh, that's awesome. And so now, so what is it? Give us an insight of the transition from being an employee, longstanding employee, and now a partner. Coming to work? What is that? What's the difference now? What is there a feeling that you have different about your position or about your career, if you will?
Yeah, I would say the biggest difference is we had a very large client that I was in charge of, and they outgrew us.
Mm,
And I felt like I'd kind of lost my way or whatever. But being a firm that's been around 50 years, we get a
hmm
lot of calls. Hey, I need an accountant or whatever. And being, we have 6 partners, sometimes the admin staff is,
Mhm.
hey, we talk to this person, we talk to this person. And I just said, hey, make all these calls, come to me. I'll be the business development partner. And
Mm.
that has been the best part of my job. And I really like talking to people, especially getting started. And that was the biggest change, because before it's, tax returns and, a lot of debits and credits. And but that part, I felt like I was able to show my personality about it. And
Oh, I love that.
peace.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is like you had the ability or the freedom to take ownership of a part of the business and run with it. Whereas an employee, you were kind of waiting or had to ask permission. Which
Yes.
is
Yeah.
that's a huge that's got to be exhilarating to be able to say that's mine. I'm taking that, and then being able to run with it and be successful with it. And so as a company that it's a family company, right? Like you're
It is. Yeah.
right. So second generation, third generation,
I guess second generation,
second
but the
generation.
first generation is still here.
Right. No, I totally get that. That's amazing. That's yes. If I had had kids, I ended up not having kids, but I don't know if I would bring my kids into my business. Like God, so God bless them for being able to do that and keeping it in the family and stuff like that. So when we're working with a family business and you now become into that partnership, what for people who, I mean, this is not an uncommon thing, right? Have a family business and bring in outside partners. So what would you say is probably the biggest challenge, and then conversely the biggest blessing of coming into a family business as a partner?
Well, I would say the biggest blessing is it was an established business.
Mm.
I didn't have to beat the bushes ever for new clients. I never had to think, oh no, where's the next paycheck coming from? And I started that financial advising based on that part.
Hmm.
And we're able to take chances with clients that maybe if I was on my own, I don't think I would be able to. But the biggest challenge is I always joke around that all the other partners are very Italians, and they're very strong willed. But the next day, hey, everything's forgotten. Don't worry about anything. They never harbor resentment. So that's been a challenge for me, because I'm like, oh man, I really upset these people. But then the next day, they're like, hey, yeah, hey, let's rock and roll. Let's get some new clients or whatever. And I was like, I thought you were upset about that. And
That
but
is an
they were really,
Italian trait. Yes. I
yes,
harbor that Italian trait myself. It's having a memory of a goldfish, as they now say, right?
yes, yeah, yeah. But
just
I mean, it's been a senior group that's really taken me under their wing, and brought me up to speed with the tax. And we have great research here. And I, being, I guess, one of the younger guys, I do some research and I get it to them, and they're kind of interpreting things too. And I just,
Mhm.
for being in a small town, I'm really proud of what we do.
And so, what type of clients do you guys typically work with then?
I always joke around that we're the small town veterinarian. We have to work on a chicken, a horse, and everything. But we do a lot of manufacturing here. We do a
Okay.
lot of transportation,
Mm.
construction industry. It's regular small town America, but we have everything from $1 million client to a $50 million client.
Mm.
So
Okay.
and we've got into different states. So that's kind of been like a
Mm.
niche for us. We're 25, 27 states,
Oh
different,
wow.
it's kind of rotating,
Hmm.
based on businesses and such.
Hmm. Oh, that's really cool. And so then, when you were looking at like, so you go from a small town, a CPA firm, and now you're a national CPA firm. What is when you're looking at the inner workings of that? Does it change the mindset inside the office when we now are talking about clients that we may never meet in face to face?
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge. I mean, like, because, our bread and butter is to have the people in, and,
Mm-hmm.
have a meeting, and obviously the managing partner, like that's how he really earned his stripes, if you will. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him from really high powered executives to, like a really small business owner, and he's able to explain the accounting in a way that everybody's going to, pick up something from it. And, but yeah, that's hard. We're getting used to teams, and we're,
Mm-hmm.
doing this, and a lot of it, we really stepped up our game during COVID. That
Mm-hmm.
we had a contract with the local small business development center in
Mm-hmm.
Clarion, and it's out of Clarion University, which is pretty handy to our town. And they're a great group down there. They're helping like a lot of local small businesses, but I'm pretty sure they're in every state, and
Yep, they are.
they're a subset of the SBA, and just
Mm-hmm.
we refer a lot of small businesses down there. I'm like, hey, you're going to get some consulting down there for free that you're not going to get out out in
Right.
the industry. You're going to be paying for that, unfortunately. But
Yes, unfortunately, yes, we have lots of people on the corners giving out free Bibles, but never the owner's manuals to running the small businesses. So,
really well put.
so when we look at this now, we got a generational, and you said you're like one of the youngers. When you look at your future, I mean, what does your partnership mean to you? Say 25 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Well, hopefully retired. I guess I turned 46 here in August, but
Well, if
I
you're
don't
going by
know.
the founders, you should be still working. But anyway, I'll give you that.
He always
So, are you
jokes
going to
around.
exit? So, do you have an exit strategy then to get out of the business when you retire? I mean, how does that work for people who have never don't know the other side of a partnership?
Yeah, I mean that's tough because the founding member is still here, and but yeah, I don't know. Like I hope it is a small town,
Uh huh.
and I don't have any aspirations for double digit growth or anything, but I always say status quo is growing a little bit
Mm-hmm.
because you're eventually losing clients. I mean, people
Mm-hmm.
sell. There's
Mm-hmm.
there's mergers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our local pharmacies were bought by the hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just they're no longer a client. People
Mm-hmm.
sell, people move on. And
Mm-hmm.
but it's introduced us to the next thing is helping like broker some of these deals and helping
Mm-hmm.
people out with the financing. We've worked
Mm-hmm.
with there's a progress fund that's a nonprofit lender out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's in Pittsburgh, and they're like, hey, we want to get a presence up in Western Pennsylvania, and I'm like, yeah, welcome.
That's awesome. So, what advice would you give to somebody who is in a professional B2B professional services firm, which is like a CPA? What advice would you give to somebody who's been in their company for a few years and is looking at their options and but doesn't know how to approach the ownership and the possibility of maybe becoming a partner?
I'm an Eagle Scout, and I always try and lead with honesty. And I actually just kind of went to them and said what I was looking for, and I never thought I would be good at like dealing with new clients or whatever, but that's what I really like, and they've kind of let me run with it. I mean, the most of those guys, they want to see that you're assertive and that you have a passion for it, and I think that's always going to show. Like if you're in it just for a paycheck, it, it, people will know really quick, and it's very tough, like but you just got to stay determined, I guess.